Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Coming Home Light After SAS, Semester at Sea. My name is Viviana Premazzi. I was Intercultural Communications Specialist for Voyage 134. And together with me, there is Emma DeCaro, who was and is also here, ASL Interpreter. Today, we have another very special guest, a person who really helped the voyage to be more inclusive. And she contributed a lot. And I'm sure she was also one of the first kind of to subscribe, like to submit her application to be one of our guests. So wanted to contribute as she did on the ship, doing it now. So I'm sure we will have a lot to learn from her and listening to her story and what she learned during the voyage and also probably after the voyage. So, welcome, Macy. It's a pleasure to have you here. My first question is actually ask you if you want to introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Hi, my name is Macy DeGraw. I go to Gallaudet University, which is the deaf university in Washington, D.C. I am from Utah, and I'm studying biology with a minor in chemistry. And I want to become a marine biologist someday. And
Amazing.
that's about it.
Beautiful. So, probably also for your future career, you can tell us something about like SAS. So, for people who didn't do SAS or don't have any idea what is SAS, and then maybe what was SAS for you in all the different aspects.
So, Semester at Sea was a multicultural study abroad program where we got to go to different countries all across Africa, Asia, and Europe. It's a program to get to connect students with people in these countries and learn about different cultures. It was a really cool experience because you get to be immersed fully in these different cultures, and that's weaved into the course curriculum as well.
Thank you. So, and what was SAS for you?
So before I did semester at sea, I had a very basic understanding of what it was going to look like. I kind of envisioned it being a travel-based semester and didn't really know about the immersion part or the richness of the cultures and how we would be impacted by the people we would meet in every country. And so for me, semester at sea really became a program where I found myself or where people can find themselves. You learn about yourself through the process as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think this is something common or that's coming out a lot from the interview, this kind of voyage inside ourselves and learn a lot, not only about other people of other countries, but really about ourselves. And this is probably also the beauty and something that never stops. Like once you start, you will never stop to learn about yourself and want to learn more about yourself. So thank you for sharing this. Then we came back, like officially, semester C ended when we arrived and disembarked in Bangkok. So since then, what do you miss the most about semester at sea?
I miss the most, I would say, learning about other cultures and other people. It's an experience that I will never forget, especially as it relates to deaf culture. I have never been involved in deaf cultures or communities really much in the US prior to me coming to college. And so I didn't have a lot of that exposure when I was growing up. And so being in these different countries and learning about international deaf communities, we typically don't talk about that in the United States. And we do have international students at Gallaudet, but it was just really fun and fascinating to be able to meet deaf people in other countries.
And I know you actually did this kind of intentionally in many different countries and ports. So if you just that was not kind of part of the questions, but if you want to explain to like for the people that they were not part of our voyage or they don't know about this, what did you do in specific ports to meet the deaf community or to learn more about how it is in the different countries?
So before semester at sea started, Emma and Eli, our interpreters, started networking and contacting deaf people in all these different countries through their personal networks. And so when we would meet up, they would show us around their community and their culture. They would teach us about their local deaf school, what deaf education looks like and how it functions in their community, if it's good infrastructure or perhaps, it's still in its initial phases. And so we got to learn a lot about that and deaf education specifically. There are some schools that are still really oral or speech based instead of using sign language. And there seems to be a pretty stark divide between these different philosophies in education. And the sign languages in each country were actually different. And so it was great just to see places where there had been a lot of progress in investing in deaf education. And then we would go to other places and see things where they were just starting out. And America had gone through a similar journey as well, many decades ago. But yeah, I just loved getting to see the development in other countries.
Yeah, thank you. And that's so interesting and fascinating. And because sometimes people really think that sign language is the same everywhere, but actually it's not. Like I'm working with the Italian deaf community and they have their sign language. Malta is different, like America sign language is different. And so this is already something I think it's very important for people to know and understand, like the beauty, the richness, the diversity, and then the different stages, as you said. So thank you for sharing this. And then tell us now, so we said what do you miss the most, but what's also one or more of your favorite memories of SAS?
Hmm.
It's a difficult question.
Yes, that's a very difficult question. I have so many memories. I will share about two. Setting up the ASL club and seeing how many people uh, indicated they were interested at first was amazing. We had over 180 people sign up, and it was just inspirational just to see that motivation. It's something that I've never experienced before in my state growing up. And so to know that people were actually willing and wanting to invest in learning sign language with us made me feel more included in the Voyage community. So that was one of my top memories. And then my second one, this is a kind of a random one, but in Morocco, when I went on the camel trek, it was during a sunset and sunrise when that happened. And so those were just really picturesque, beautiful memories that I loved experiencing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think, yes, for all of us, or most of us, it was beautiful to see how many people sign up for like the sign language club. And also because, again, I think we already said this in a few interviews, like inclusion can really be a buzzword, but you really transform like our voyage in a very inclusive one, and that was beautiful. Um, Maybe also here, but just to explain for people that were not part of the voyage or don't know, because I think it's difficult to explain to people that SAS is actually a campus on the ship. So it's not only that you have the academic part, but you also have the social part. So can you just explain just a couple of words about the club? What's a club? What was the club, and how did the club work?
So for ASL Club specifically, we put everybody in one room together and just taught the basics of conversational ASL, like hello, how are you? Good morning, good night. Just those very fundamental signs, and then the alphabet. And and then we transitioned to more of, an advanced signs like colors and words that related to the voyage itself, like ship or uh, the pool bar or the pool. And so that took us, gosh, maybe till about the middle of the semester. And then we had to split up our classes because we still had new people joining halfway through the voyage that needed to get those fundamentals, and then people that had been there from the beginning that were ready to move on to some more advanced techniques. So we split up our classes into beginner and advanced and continued the instruction from there. And in terms of social life on the ship, It's super interesting because there were tons of clubs and organizations that were available to everyone. I can't even count how many there were. But I was involved in the volleyball club and obviously ASL club. But I was in one more too. I think I was in like a reading club. I actually don't even remember that. That started off really strong, and then we kind of went on our own individual journeys. But yeah, lots of options. And social life was really fun because we got to hang out by the pool and in the library. We played all sorts of card games and just chatted during times we weren't in school. It was nice.
Yeah. That beautiful. So it was really like an intense language course, but I was wondering now, and I'm sure maybe for some people it was also a reflection and maybe something for their future career, maybe something they never thought about, and maybe who knows that from our voice there will be new ASL interpreter or people working with the deaf community just because of the club or because they met you. So that would be amazing to see in a few years or in a few months. Who knows?
Exactly. Hopefully. Hopefully.
So now, coming back, because this is also one of the reason why we're doing this, is to kind of normalize the struggles that people may have. Students, faculty, lifelong learners, we know everyone is struggling with something at a different level. In some ways, we expected some struggles. Some maybe they just eat us like randomly without us expecting. How was for you coming back? What were the main struggles? Did you have anything that you feel to share that can help other voyagers?
I would say the biggest struggle for me was a form of culture shock. So coming from, at least academically, being in a mainstream school environment, then I'm in a deaf university at Gallaudet, and then coming to semester at C, which was all mainstream, hearing and deaf people together, was really just quite a shock. But I was really encouraged to see people that were willing to learn sign language and get to know us better. I would say coming back personally, hmm, I have some regrets about, maybe not expanding my friend group quite as much as I wanted to on semester at sea. I do see now a lot of people on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have gotten to talk to them more during the voyage, or I would have gotten to travel with some different people. I'm still really happy with the memories that I have and everyone that I did meet during my voyage. No worries about that. But I do sometimes wonder, like, oh gosh, I maybe could have done this more or differently, and I don't really know how to describe it, but that's my best answer right now.
Thank you. And I think this is also something people can relate, despite like we don't want to have regrets, but maybe there is this thinking, what if? So it's also good because we learn from the future. And then I think something that maybe I don't know if can it help you or it can help you, but some of your colleagues, like students, mention it seems 4 months it seems a long time, but actually then it's just like a blink. So we think we have a lot of time to meet all the people, but then there are like 500 students, a lot of faculty, and so actually 4 months, they're not this like long time, because also, as you just said, explaining about the clubs, we were so busy on the ship with the academic part and the clubs and the social life. So maybe there was not really like the time, but it's a good learning for the future to open up our circle. So thank you for sharing this. And then maybe, yeah, maybe link to that. So if you want to comment and link to that, what are the strategies or what are some like resources, or how are you coping with this like cultural shock or struggles or challenges, or just like thinking about like the past, moving into the future?
So I write poems sometimes, and that helps me express my feelings and just makes me kind of separate semester at sea from my time at Gallaudet. I know that I can't, I can still make small connections, but they're entirely different things. And so when I write poetry, it really helps me understand my feelings a little bit better, or perhaps, reading books is something that I really enjoy. It's just making more time for myself And honestly, I think just investing more in self-care is has been a huge value as well. And also hanging out with my friends too, my closest friends. You're just watching a movie together at night or playing games. Honestly, that's just been really fun as well, helping me a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think, and you started with this. So self-care, fundamental, like learning about ourselves, taking care of ourselves. That is also why we're doing this, because yeah, we know the community is great, but then we also need to take care of ourselves and take care of each other. So thank you for sharing and journaling and writing poems. And so maybe you can share one of our poems for when we post the interview, so we can also share one of your poem if you want. Um,
Maybe not.
you want?
But
Okay.
we'll see. I'm okay.
Bingo, just kidding. Thank you. Thank you so much, Macy. That was great. And thank you everyone for watching. We will see you for our next episode. Again, thank you again for watching. Bye.
Bye.